Don't tell your problems to everyone. 80% don't care, and the other 20% are glad you have them. Stop looking for the good in people. Start instead looking for good people. You have to do what is right for you. No one else is walking in your shoes. The more thankful you are, the more you attract things to be thankful for. Never let a bad day make you feel like you have a bad life. Every second you spend comparing your life to someone else's is a second spent wasting yours. You can lie down for people to walk on you, and they will still complain that you are not flat enough. When thinking about life, remember this: no amount of guilt can change the past, and no amount of anxiety can change the future. Every person in your life is a teacher. Some bring lessons about love and support. Others teach you what to avoid. You see a person's true colors when you are no longer beneficial to their life. Don't get married because you think it's something you have to do. You don't have as much time as you think. Tell those people you love that you love them, and say it often. If you've never questioned whether or not you made the right decision, you haven't taken big enough risks. Not everyone is down for you like they say they are. Never trust what someone says. Watch what they do. You can't love somebody enough to make them love you back. Be careful with your words. Once they are said, they can be only forgiven, not forgotten. Don't let someone who did you wrong make you think there's something wrong with you. Don't devalue yourself because they didn't value. You know your worth even if they don't. If you're willing to sacrifice what you want most for what you want now, then your future will always be filled with disappointment. Be single with peace of mind is way better than having a relationship with someone who makes your life miserable. Sometimes you just have to say no and ignore the guilt trip that follows. Often, the right thing and the hardest thing are the same. What you do today can improve all your tomorrows. Sometimes in life, your situation will keep repeating itself. Until you learn your lesson, you will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. It doesn't matter if you're right sometimes. The people you hang around will shape your life in more ways than you know. Sometimes there's no right decision to make in those cases. First you make a decision, and then you work to make it right. The greatest mistake you can make in life is to be continually fearing you will make one. Learn to be content and happy by yourself. If you need a company to be happy, then it will make you weak. You're not responsible for what other people expect from you. Not every thought needs to be expressed. There are things in life we don't want to happen, but have to accept. Things we don't want to know, but have to learn. And people we can't live without but have to let go. No matter who tries to teach you lessons about life, you won't understand it until you go through it on your own. You can start your life over any time you want. You can start being the person you actually want to be today. Right now, the people who ask the most from you are the people who do the least for you. Never sacrifice these three things: your family, your heart, or your dignity. Always look at where you're going, not where you've been. Sometimes it's not the people who change, it's the mask that falls off. Show respect even to people who don't deserve it, not as a reflection of their character, but as a reflection of yours. When you find no solution to a problem, it's probably not a problem to be solved, but rather a truth to be accepted. Nothing ever goes away until it teaches us what we need to know. Don't make permanent decisions on temporary emotions. Sometimes it's best just to cut people off, no matter how hard it is. Some people just aren't worth the effort. To understand a person's character, don't just look at their action, observe their reaction. It is harder to fake a reaction. The way people treat you is a reflection of their character, not yours. Mistakes are proof that you're trying. Love is not enough to make a happy, lasting relationship. Being open and unafraid to communicate is vastly important. Even if it's a difficult conversation, everything in life teaches you a lesson. You just have to be willing to learn. The measure of a man is the way he bears up under misfortune. If you put them on a pedestal, they will have no choice but to look down on you. Each pain makes you more strong, each betrayal more intelligent, every disappointment more skillful, and each experience more wise. When you get married, everything good about your relationship and everything bad about your relationship intensifies. You teach people how to treat you. Things really change for the better in your life. Unless you change them, hard times are often blessings in disguise. Let go and let life strengthen you. No matter how much it hurts, hold your head up and keep going. Sometimes it's a blessing to not get what you want. The more you like yourself, the less you need others. And just because you're good at keeping other people's secrets, it doesn't mean that they will do the same for you. Very often, a change of self is needed more than a change of scene. It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness, that is life. Inner peace begins the moment you choose not to allow another person or event to control your emotions. He who you conquers you. There can be no progress, no achievement without sacrifice, and the man's worldly success will be in the measure that he sacrifices. We advance in life when we let go of fear. A man who wants something will find a way. A man who doesn't will find an excuse. Some people will not like you. No matter how hard you try to win their favor, you have to take chances sometimes. And although it can be scary and outside your comfort zone, you'll never know what could have been unless you go for it. People give you advice based on their perspective. The greater danger for most of us lies not in setting our aim too high and falling short, but in setting our aim too low and achieving our mark. Be a reflection of what you'd like to receive. If you want love, give love. If you want truth, be truthful. If you want respect, give respect. What you give out will always return. Never speak from a place of hate, jealousy, anger, or insecurity. Evaluate your words before you let them leave your lips. You only get one body. Take care of it. You'll have it all your life. And while it is incredibly resilient, it can only give you what you put in. If someone emphasizes that they are telling the truth, you can be sure they are lying. Don't base your own self-worth on the opinions of others. If you don't like something about your life, you have to change it. It's not going to change for you. When writing the story of your life, don't let anyone else hold the pen. Don't do anything that you will have to lie about later. Making others look bad doesn't make you look better. Prioritizing yourself is not selfish. Light travels faster than sound. That's why some people appear bright until you hear them speak. Sometimes you just need to relax and have faith that things will work out. Let go a little and just let life happen. Life is inherently risky. There is only one big risk you should avoid at all costs, and that is the risk of doing nothing. You are the only person who has to be with yourself 100% of the time, so start liking yourself and who you are. Overthinking ruins you, it ruins the situation, twists things around, makes you worrying about futile questions, and makes everything much worse than it actually is. Don't worry about what people say behind your back. They are the people who are always finding faults in your life, instead of fixing the faults in their own life. Sometimes painful things can teach us lessons that we didn't think we needed to know. Be happy on your own. Don't seek out someone else to validate your existence. Act like you have been there before. You must welcome change as a rule, but not as your ruler. Just because things could have been different doesn't mean they'd be better. Life doesn't get easier or more forgiving. We get stronger and more resilient. It's not the mistakes that define one's character, but the manner in which one responds to those mistakes. People will disappoint you, so never put all your trust in anyone. Hard work doesn't always guarantee success, but laziness almost certainly guarantees failure. You'll never be truly happy if you constantly seek validation from others. Anything that you start to take a relaxed attitude towards stops controlling you. The pursuit of perfection is futile. Aim for progress instead. Your self-worth is non-negotiable. Never settle for anything or anyone that diminishes it. Be careful what you tolerate. You are teaching people how to treat you. You will never be 100% sure about a decision, but always make a decision, because it's better to go back and fix it than to never make it at all. Learn to say no without feeling guilty. It protects your time and priorities. Chasing happiness will lead you to misery. Until you realize that happiness is the way, maybe you are not healing because you're trying to be who you were before. That person doesn't exist anymore because there's a new you trying to be born. Breathe life into that person. There will always be someone who can't see your worth. Don't let it be you. You learn nothing from life if you think you're right all the time. No one owes you anything. You have to work for what you want in life. There are things we don't want to happen, but have to accept. Things we don't want to know, but have to learn. And people we can't live without, but have to let go. What you want requires consistency and discipline. Your entire life can change in an instant. So, instead of passively taking what you have for granted, be grateful for it and do whatever good you can with it. The worst kinds of enemies are those who pretend to be your friends. The actions of men are the best interpreters of their thoughts. Never decide what you can or cannot do based on your lowest points in life. Only put off until tomorrow what you are willing to die having left undone. The harder your life becomes, the faster you will reach your goals. Excuses won't fix your problems. Take responsibility for your actions. Accept that you will make mistakes and learn from them instead of dwelling on them. Befriend those who expand your thinking, not just your circle. Avoid making decisions when you're angry, and avoid making promises when you're happy. You will never understand the damage you did to someone until the same thing is done to you. Be careful who you let in your life. People will come and drain the shift out of you, then leave and blame everything on you. Maturity is when you have the power to destroy someone who did you wrong, but you just breathe, walk away, and Let life take care of them. You are the only person you can control. Be humble enough to know you can lose everything, but be confident enough to know you can get it all back. Remember that every time you try, you're making progress. Spend so much time on self-improvement. You have no time to criticize others. Smart people stop overthinking once they understand that the best decisions require more gut feeling than pure intellect. It all begins and ends in your mind. What you give power to has power over you. Work on mastering your mind. Excuses are always there and easy to make. Finding a way is what takes courage. Be smart enough to realize that life doesn't wait for you to be okay. Don't allow someone to treat you poorly just because you love them. Every time you lie, you are creating problems that you will have to deal with in the future. Do the right thing now. One who believes in himself has no need to convince others. Learn to miss someone without wanting them back. If life wasn't hard, you would never grow. Sometimes you just have to accept that some people can only be in your heart, not in your life. The only way to feel better about yourself is to do things worth feeling good about. Sacrificing long-term joy for short-term pleasure is the easiest recipe for regret. Don't be scared to set boundaries in your relationships. If they walk away, it means you're better off without them. Life becomes easier when you learn to accept the apology you never got. The first step towards getting somewhere is to decide you're not going to stay where you are. Slow success builds character. Fast success builds ego. If you don't separate yourself from your distractions will separate you from your goals. By doing what everyone else does, you guarantee average results. Don't lose yourself by tolerating too much from the people you want to keep. Focus your attention on creating the life you want, instead of distracting yourself from your current life. When your motives are sincere, it's not you who loses anyone. Rather, it's others who lose you. When you know yourself, you stop fearing missing out on things that are not meant for you. The easiest way to destroy your self-confidence is to constantly break the promises you make to yourself. Stop cheating on your future with your past. You grow as much as the amount of truth you're willing to accept about yourself without running away. All failures are temporary when you keep trying. When you blame someone else for your problems, you're giving them power over you. You're allowing them to define and dictate your happiness and well-being. Trusting blindly often leads to betrayal. The only person who needs to understand is you. Life gets better once you stop assuming you will always have more time later. Be proactive. Each day should be a step forward. The first to apologize is the bravest. The first to forgive is the strongest. The first to forget is the happiest. No single thing will solve all your problems. No goal, no achievement, no relationship, no one will ever fix you. Show respect even to people who don't deserve it, not as a reflection of their character, but as a reflection of yours. Whatever you do, winning isn't everything, but you always win if you're satisfied that you put in the best performance you could. You set your own standards. Find your why. Your why is the foundation of your goals and provides meaning to your actions. It's the deep, personal reason that drives your ambitions. Taking responsibility for all of your problems alleviates more suffering than it creates. Be who you are and say what you feel. because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. When you talk, you only repeat what you already know. If you listen, you may learn something. Never date a person you wouldn't also be friends with. The more hard lessons you can learn vicariously, rather than through your own hard experience, the better. Healing also means taking an honest look at the role you play in your own suffering. Challenge yourself. It's the only path to growth. Ignoring red flags because you want to see the good in people will cost you later. Peace does not mean being in a place where there is no noise, trouble, or hard work. It means to be in the midst of those things and still be calm in your heart. Avoid people who use their pain as an excuse to hurt you. Don't let people know too much about you. Most people don't care, and some secretly want you to fail. When you react, you lose power. Perfectionism is a disease. Procrastination is a disease. Action is the cure. Go where you are appreciated, not just tolerated. Fix your body before you fix anything else. Having a weak body is a reflection of your broken mind. It is a reflection of your lack of willpower, discipline, and your piss-poor life choices. Some disconnections will bless your life. True success doesn't depend on seeking validation from others. It stems from seizing opportunities, proving what you're capable of, and accomplishing your goals despite challenges. When you find someone smarter than you, work with them. Don't get intimidated by them. Never expect to get what you give. Not everyone has a heart like you. Your mental state determines your experience of life. Prioritize your mental health like you would your physical health. Exercise your mind with new challenges and positive self-talk. Life is difficult because we don't appreciate the things that come easily. Don't let loneliness drive you to make temporary decisions with long-term consequences. Once you are in the right direction in life, you stop getting offended and angry all the time because you have so much better to do with your time. Your growth depends on your willingness to keep learning. Even when it's boring, keep your personal life private and not telling everyone everything, even when you have a lot to say, is top-tier self-care. Find a relationship where you naturally being you. Make the other person happy. One of the most dangerous things you can do is compare your life to somebody else's. It's not a race, it's your journey. Don't give up after the first failure. Failure is not the end. It's just a detour on the road to success just because you can't see the point behind. A challenging time doesn't mean there isn't one. When you believe, your mind finds a way to do. Embrace the long game. Patience is the ultimate competitive advantage. In the game of life, your future needs you, your past doesn't. Being true to yourself may lead to loneliness, but it's worth it. You will be pulled down out of jealousy. Don't get surprised, it's normal. It's scary when things change, but it's even scarier when they don't. The truth is, everyone is going to hurt you. You just have to find the ones worth suffering for. On a day when you don't come across any problems, you can be sure that you are traveling in the wrong path. The magic you are looking for is in the work you are avoiding. You must discipline yourself carefully. You must keep the promises you make to yourself and reward yourself so that you can trust and motivate yourself. Our lives are defined by opportunities, even the ones we miss. When you build in silence, no one knows where to attack. Pain only leaves you when it teaches you something. Some lessons have to be learned twice, being cool, calm, and collected in a stressful situation is extremely important. This doesn't mean you need to suppress your emotions. Just don't let them get the better of you. The more you spend clinging to the past, the less likely your future will be any brighter. The only failure is not trying. The only rejection is not asking. The only mistake is not risking anything. If you can't say no, then your yes means nothing. People want you to succeed, but often no more than they want to succeed for themselves. Stop overestimating others and underestimating yourself. You give power to someone you blame for your problems. Life has a way of working out, even when it seems impossible. You should never sacrifice what you could be. For what you are, you don't have to prove anything to anyone, including yourself. Luck comes to those who work hard. Good things do not come to those who wait. Don't make one person the center of all your happiness. Don't make them the reason why you are happy, because once that person walks away from your life, you are left with nothing. When you feel like giving up, remember why you held on for so long in the first place. Never put relationships before your goals. You may lose them both. You can fall in love more than once. You don't need to worry much when someone you love leaves you. Most of the time it's for the good. You will have to make very practical decisions about what you want from life and what you're willing to give up. And if you don't make them, then life will make them for you. Changes happen when we go against everything we're used to doing. Failure shows us the way by showing us what isn't the way. It's normal to feel bad after making the right decision. No matter how nice and friendly you are, some people will dislike you no matter what you do. Don't waste your time on them. Later often means never. Bad times are actually a boom because they wake you up to the good things you never paid attention to. Never try to gain somebody's sympathy. The people who care about you will be there for you when you need them. You don't need to show them that you are their best friend. You can't make someone love you by giving them more of what they already don't appreciate. Most of the time you have to swallow the pain and learn to grow up by yourself. Money doesn't guarantee happiness, but poverty can bring significant challenges. Hiding from your problems won't make them disappear. Facing them is the only way to grow. Regrets can linger for a lifetime if you don't learn to forgive yourself and others. Time spent comparing yourself to others is time spent on wasteful thoughts. People will often take advantage of your kindness. If you let them, problems are rarely as bad as we think, or rather they are precisely as bad as we think. Your obsession with finding happiness is what prevents its attainment. Treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. If you are in your 20s, many relationships will fail and not work, but function as learning exercises because of this. Don't stress so much, it's all just practice. Until you are married, your friends and family do not always know what is best for you. The greatest sin is to think of yourself as weak. Don't allow anyone to treat you badly just because you love them. Knowing when to mind your own business and when to speak up is a life lesson that takes time, but once you know when to react or retract, life flows much more smoothly. You have to take chances sometimes, and although it can be scary and outside your comfort zone, you'll never know what could have been unless you go for it. The big secret in life is that there is no big secret. Whatever your goal, you can get there if you're willing to work. If you do not make yourself indispensable, you will be unemployed soon. Never let yourself become completely dependent on anyone. Always be able to support yourself financially, mentally, and physically. A wise man can learn more from his enemies than a fool from his friends. We walk away from our dreams afraid we may fail, or worse yet, afraid we may succeed. You can't expect everyone to be good to you, and at the same time, you can't be good to everyone. It is during the worst times of your life that you will get to see the true colors of the people who say they care for you. If you never heal from what hurt you, you will bleed on people who didn't catch you. Never expect and never put too much trust in anyone. Don't stick with bad friends just because you've known them for a long time. Our wounds are often the openings into the best and most beautiful part of us. Usually people only want to hear the good, not the bad. So if you have issues, it'll be hard to find people to confide in. Numbing the pain for a while will make it worse. When you finally feel it, when a defining moment comes along, you can do one of two things: define the moment or let the moment define you. Stay away from narcissists. They don't play by any rules. They will suck the life out of you slowly. You need to learn how to select your thoughts, just the same way you select your clothes every day. This is a power you can cultivate. If you want to control things in your life so badly, work on the mind. That's the only thing you should be trying to control. No matter what good you do to people, they will only remember your mistakes. In every situation, life is asking us a question, and our actions are the answer. Our job is simply to answer well. Say no to your desire to be perfect. Otherwise, you won't be able to improve further. The regret of putting first those who don't put you first makes your life painful. You must determine where you are going in your life, because you cannot get there unless you move in that direction. They don't play by any rules. They will. Random wandering will not move you forward. It will instead disappoint and frustrate you and make you anxious and unhappy and hard to get along with. Dreams without goals are just dreams. Suck the life out of you slowly. You need to learn how to select your thoughts, just the same way you select your clothes every day. This is a power you can cultivate. If you want to control things in your life so badly, work on the mind. That's the only thing you should be trying to control. No matter what good you do to people, they will only remember your mistakes. In every situation, life is asking us a question, and our actions are the answer. Our job is simply to answer well. Say no to your desire to be perfect. Otherwise, you won't be able to improve further. The regret of putting first those who don't put you first makes your life painful. You must determine where you are going in your life, because you cannot get there unless you move in that direction. And the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. You can't be happy with someone else if you aren't happy with yourself. Be not afraid of life. Believe that life is worth living, and your belief will help create the fact. Holding grudges will never harm people you hate, only you. There is only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve: fear of failure. You don't realize the true value of a moment until it becomes a memory. Emotion, which is suffering, ceases to be suffering as soon as we form a clear and precise picture of it. People's actions tell the truth about them, not their words. Real growth is when you start checking and correcting yourself instead of blaming others. You take your power back by being responsible for your life. If you can't understand why someone is doing something, look at the consequences of their actions, whatever they might be, and then infer the motivations from their consequences. The biggest risk is not taking any risk in a world that is changing really quickly. The only strategy that is guaranteed to fail is not taking risks. Tomorrow never comes because it's always today.